Hey everyone, it is day 43 of my SFV vacation. I just wanted to address some of the questions I see fairly often there on the Solid Food Vacation Facebook page. I do not have all the answers. I know that I know nothing. However, I do have some experience. I have completed a 95-day, a 65-day, a 45-day, a 28-day, and quite a few shorter juice feasts. So this will just be my perspective on a few different things. I'll talk about juicers, how much to juice, valve movements. I got a couple notes, let me look. Healing crises, cravings, support systems, keeping a positive attitude, exercise, how long do I need to juice, and anything else that comes to mind. I will jump right into it. A lot of questions, what juicer should I get? It depends on you, which all of these things will be dependent on you, so you got to kind of figure things out for yourself. How much money do you have to spend? A $100 juicer and a $400 juicer are quite different, so you'll have to figure that out. A centrifugal, the spinning type versus the masticating type, I would highly suggest getting a slow speed masticating juicer. Good brands that I have used are Omega and the Green Star Elite. Other juicers that I hear are very good as well include Kuvings, any brand of Omega, any brand of Tri-Best, and so any of the slow ones of those brand names are supposed to be good. How much to juice? Once again, this is quite dependent on your body size, your sex, your age, your activity level. I historically, and over 300 days of doing this, drink an average of 6 quarts a day. Other people swear by as little as 2 to 3. I do not advise that myself. I like to stick to the rule of thumb of at least 4. And some of this information comes from John Rose. I would highly suggest watching his videos on juice fasting and all of his videos in general if you're interested on that. He knows way more than I do, so I would definitely suggest looking at John Rose. However, my experience, 6 quarts a day. I'm an active person. I've done this as a PE teacher, and I exercise regularly on my own. I'll go into that more in a little bit. So that's what works for me. How long do I need to go on a juice fast? Once again, that depends on your goals. I wanted to completely clear out myself the first time initially at 95 days. That felt good to me, so then I ate. I believe at least 80 days for anyone that really wants to evacuate all their bowels. A lot of people do well over 100 to 120, 150 and beyond. So that depends on you, but the general baseline seems to be at least 90 days. Should I be pooping every day? Generally, maybe something coming out. I highly suggest doing enemas myself. They were a lifesaver for me during my first juice feast, whether it was just straight distilled water or maybe water with lemon. And I was a huge fan of coffee enemas. I never really advise anyone to take any kind of laxative substance, as I would find those to do more harm than good. Question I see a lot is the psyllium and bentonite. I have used this. I have used charcoal. I'm not a fan of any of these things. I think juicing is totally fine without those. However, if you're interested in something that may brush out, there's lots of products that contain psyllium, and you can try those out for yourself. about a teaspoon of psyllium and a teaspoon of bentonite, shake it up, pound that back, and see what happens. Which brings us to mucoid plaque, which I am not a fan of this term. I consider mucoid plaque the Bigfoot of the juice feast. I did, however, have lots of old fecal matter come out of my body, which I called the Black Death, and it smelled like a hot porta potty sitting in the summer sun on top of a busted sewer main. Whether or not mucoid plaque came out, I do not know. I did catch lots of my bowel movements and sifted through those by hand. Yes, I did wear gloves or use tongs or something. And I would go by looks and smell to determine. It's pretty easy to tell the old stuff from the newer stuff when it's coming out. Along with enemas is healing crisis. So you may get fatigued, have headaches, feel like poop, be nauseated, etc. I would always resort to the enemas. In that case, they helped me every time. The coffee enemas were miraculous, and if you're interested in the protocol on those, I would suggest checking out the Gerson therapy. If you're not familiar with that, it has the protocol, so look into that. Some people are having cravings, and I understand if you're in a situation with lots of people eating around, whether husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you're cooking for the kids and such, and you're sitting there juicing, that could be difficult in some situations. My first lawn juice feast, I went to my family's Thanksgiving as well as Christmas celebrations and feasting, and I was drinking juice and was the butt of some jokes and ridicule, and so I understand that, but I was quite happy drinking my juice. I suggest if you do have cravings, I would just drink more, maybe even drink some water, which I don't typically drink water on a juice feast, but that may help. Or a lot of times just think about something else and those cravings pass on their own. Also, support with cravings leads me into why I created the Solid Food Vacation page on Juice Feast for support systems. And a lot of times in our home lives, our friends and family may not understand the idea of fasting and aren't involved in it, so I consider it highly beneficial to come to the group and ask questions and get support, which is why I created the group in the first place. I just wanted to share my experience and help each other out, and I'm so happy that everyone shares and helps answers questions and creates a positive environment to help everyone else achieve whatever health goals they may have. So thank you all very much. It really makes me happy. I always like to keep a positive mental attitude. I live in a world of I cans, not I can'ts. I do not fail, I prevail. During my first juice feast, the first day I started, I juiced all day and I broke down and ate at night. I tried again the next day. I juiced all day and broke down and ate that night. I tried again a third day. I juiced all day and I made it through the day, and I continued to go 95 days. I never considered any of those days to be failures. I just considered them part of a learning process, and I regrouped and I moved on from there. I only think you fail when you stop trying. So as long as we keep on keeping on, we will always be successful. And that's the attitude I like to use within everything, all aspects of life. This is applicable. How long to exercise versus rest? Once again, this is dependent on how you feel. Right now, after a few hundred days of juice feasting, I feel fantastic every day, and I do regular resistance weight training 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm physically active. My first juice feast, however, I did not do very much extra. I was an elementary school PE teacher, so I was active daily, and that alone was more than enough to exhaust me by the end of the day. Obviously, some days I felt really bad and didn't feel like getting up, whereas other days I felt pretty good. So that's something you have to manage on your own, but by all means, if you feel good, I prefer to be active. How long to juice feast in all, as all these things, depends on who you are and your level of toxicity. 95 days felt good for my first one. I feel like from watching hundreds of people's long-term juice feasts in the group over the years that at least 80 days is necessary. And lots of people do 100, 120, 150, and many people have gone beyond that. So John Rose, once again, always refer to him. Please watch John Rose's videos and seminar on juice feasting, where he answers all these questions and more in much more depth, and he's much more knowledgeable than myself and quite more experienced as well. So I would advise to do that. And last thing I see is about breaking the fast. Once again, John Rose addresses this. However, I would take my time. To me, the longer the better. I've broken juice fast with his quintessential prune test. I've done it with grapes. I've eaten watermelon. I've eaten mangoes. I've done it with oranges, which I really did like the oranges as well. So, and juicy fruits, but keep it simple would be the main thing, and eat small quantities and chew very well till it's liquid. So same thing with your juices. Chew your juice and drink your foods. That way you get all the enzymes from your saliva and you start to break things down, and it is easier for the digestive process by the time it gets to your stomach and to your intestines. And hopefully, if you have gone a long time, you're able to absorb nutrients more efficiently, and you'll get more out of the food in general. There's many more questions that I could address. However, that is all I had written down for the moment. Thank you to all my beautiful friends in the Solid Food Vacation Facebook group for sharing your experiences. Thank you for helping one another and using that support system, because that's what it's all about. So it's a blessing that everyone's here to share this together, and it makes me happy in my heart. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm going to go drink my last green juice and play in the garden with my dogs. Take care.